Hello. How
Hi
are you?
there. Very well, thank you. How are you?
Good. My question is about trauma and how can we be aware of so much trauma that is in our body? How can you release trauma when you're not aware of all of this trauma? Like it's dormant. You're not fully aware of this unless you do some sort of therapy. And sometimes I've been told that you cannot release all of that trauma because it's going to be too much for your body to handle. I
Yeah.
don't know if you have some sort of
Yeah,
insight.
you have to first start with the attachments. So the attachments are slightly different than the trauma. The trauma is never dormant. It's always active in your attachments.
Hmm.
So it's almost like think of it like this, like if let's say a woman gets abused or she gets molested or someone gets molested, right? Or let's say a girl's father left her when she was young. I'm just giving you an example. That's traumatic, right? To not have both parents in the household. So now the girl is feeling out of control. What does she need to do? She needs to control, right? In
Hmm.
order to feel safety, in order to feel reassured, she needs to control. So what do we do when we're wanting to control? We attach ourselves to things that we can control, right? This is how eating disorders start. This is how body image issues start. It's that someone has a trauma where they felt out of control, and now they're going to be anorexic or bulimic because they can control the food intake. So first, what you want to look at is you want to look at the attachment. You have probably plenty of attachments physically happening every day that are linked to that trauma that you're not really dealing with yet. So you start with the attachment. Any attachment that we form from the trauma has the trauma in it.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Kind of.
So if I have a trauma and I'm
Hmm.
wanting to control, would you agree that that trauma is now infused in my attachment?
Yeah.
Good. So it almost looks like a poison. And then if you take like let's say potatoes, the trauma, the poison goes into the potato and it spreads. That potato is the attachment.
Hmm.
So what you first want to do is try to figure out what you're doing every day that isn't liberating. Like for me, it was I would go to the gym every day. That was my way of controlling my
Hmm.
anxiety. So I would go to the gym every day because in my I didn't think I was enough. I needed to be more. I needed to be stronger. I needed to have more abs. So this is an attachment from a trauma that I haven't dealt with.
Yeah.
So what you want to start doing is peeling back the attachments. You have to challenge yourself and say, I'm not gonna go anymore. I'm gonna sit with myself and I'm gonna learn how to love myself again. I'm gonna be the key word here is vulnerability. You have to get very open and vulnerable with the universe and let go and trust that it'll only get better.
Hmm.
But a lot of us are afraid to be vulnerable. We're afraid of letting go because we know the results we get when we're controlling things. I know that if I go to the gym, I can control having a great body. But is that really helping me heal my trauma? No. So you have to figure out what you're doing every day that feels repetitive.
Right.
Usually, when you do something repetitively, like work at a job that you don't like date somebody that you're not comfortable with, like go to the gym every day, anything that you do repetitively usually points to a trauma because repetition is the product of wanting to control everything, right?
Okay.
When we are free, if you were dying tomorrow, would you probably be doing something different?
Yeah.
Yeah, so why don't we do something different every day? Because we take our lives for granted. So
Mm.
if we're taking our lives for granted, we think we're gods. We think, oh, I'm going to keep living because I can control everything. But we're not gods. We have to respect life. We have to respect life and say, if this was my last day, how would I want to live it? Would I go to the gym if I know I'm dying tomorrow? Or would I go in nature? Or would I go on the telephone and to call someone and tell someone I love them.
Hmm.
But we don't give ourselves permission to do that because we're so stuck in our own trauma. So the idea is you have to start releasing the attachments. You can't start with the trauma. You have to start with the attachment. You start with the attachment because the attachment has trauma in it. Then you peel it all the way down to the trauma. And then once you reach that trauma, right? And you'll know when you reach it because you'll feel like roller coaster. You'll be like, fuck, I have nothing left to hold on to. I've let go of everything that I was clinging on to. I've let go of all my attachments. Now it's me and me and me and me and me, and there's nothing left. So once you're like face to face with that trauma, this is when you truly rewrite your story. You say, I know that I'm loved. I know that I'm doing a good job. I'm going to give myself over to the universe. I'm going to trust even deeper. And then slowly but surely that trauma goes away.
Hmm. Do you always need the perpetrator to release that trauma? Let's say your mom or your dad. Like, do you have to have that conversation with them, knowing that they've done bad things to you, or can you just do it on your own?
You can't be a coward, right? You like for me, there were many times in my life where I would be peaceful inside. Like I would go to family events or I would go with friends, but I was practicing being peaceful while being with people that I didn't feel safe around. So this is cowardly. Okay. It's not about finding inner peace. It's about finding peace, not inner peace, peace. Peace means everything has to match. Now that I've found inner peace, I have to now have conversations with people to figure out, are they going to allow me to feel safe around them? Are they going to be people who are on my level? Because if we're practicing meditating while we're with people who are unsafe, this is being a hypocrite, is it not?
Mhm.
If I'm truly peaceful, then I won't have shitty people in my life. If I'm truly peaceful, I don't take shit from anyone anymore. So everything has to match. You have to have inner peace, and now you have to unfold it into your life. Okay, I'm peaceful inside. Why am I so afraid to confront my family? Why am I so afraid to confront my husband? Why? If you're afraid to confront the people in your life, you're still not really peaceful. You're playing a silly game where you're convincing yourself that you're peaceful, but you're too cowardly to face the people in your life.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I hope that was helpful. I'm going to save that. He was great. Great questions. Thank you, my friend. I'm going to save that one